Welcome back to the Frizz and the Grizz podcast with your hosts, Trudeau and D.
And we're back. Another Tuesday, another podcast episode. It's your boy Trudeau, and I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, D. Frizzy Frizz. I almost screwed it up. I see you laughing.
You're still fumbling over how to introduce, man. We're coming up on like episode 50. Not quite there yet, but we're coming up on the halfway of century mark, and you're still fumbling over the intro.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna throw this to you next week. You're gonna be the one introducing everyone. How's that sound?
It's gonna throw people off for a loop, but I'm with it.
I'm gonna see how easy it is to say words. See if you can do words like I can do words. But hey, glad to have you all here watching live and listening the next day on podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. I appreciate all of you, seriously. Finals just got over, so we're gonna talk about NBA Finals today. I have a couple random basketball things. We're gonna do some gambling, a little gambling segment. I think the base of the show is gonna be NBA stuff, though, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a wrap up. It's I guess the bow on top when it comes to the culmination of the NBA season. Tough that it's gone, but we're on to season 2023-24. Obviously, we got the draft next week, so that's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we know where Wemby's going, but it's more or less like where 2 through 5 go. That's going to be very interesting.
Yes, we'll have that over the summer. Hopefully, we get into a little baseball stuff. I think gambling might be like a entryway, like a gateway drug for us into baseball. So maybe we can get into that stuff. I thought I had a weird place I want to start with you today.
Mm-hmm.
In this conversation I want to have stems from some news that broke this weekend. Are you familiar with Pat Sajak?
Yeah, Vanna White.
Yeah, Vanna White, Pat Sajak, Will Fortune. He's been there for like 30-something years.
Years.
Yeah, crazy amount of
He
time.
was a host before I was born, I'm pretty sure.
Close to it, but he's actually announced his retirement, so he's going to be retiring now for this year. It got me down a rabbit hole of first, you know how much Pat Sajak's making a year currently?
Millions, I would imagine.
Do you have a guess in the number?
Let's say 1.2 million per year.
Yeah, buddy, those are rookie numbers. You have to bump that up a little bit.
3.5 million.
I actually have some sounds for that.
Nice. It's perfect for the game show. Well, more than 3.5 million a year.
I'll just give you the number because you're not.
Yeah.
$15 million a year he was making, which is
to host a game show.
Yeah, the average is $52,000 per episode he does.
Oh my goodness.
And so it got me down a rabbit hole of looking up how much all these game show hosts make. So, I mean, Pat Sajak, his job's somewhat difficult, right? He has to be personable. He has to tell people to spin the wheel the right way, I guess. And, he's got that. Vanna White, what's her job?
She is like the letter. She used to do more when she used to have to spin the.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I thought my mic was off. When she used to have to spin the letter, now she just comes up and hits a button or touch screen. Yeah, I haven't watched it.
She just kind of waves over it. How much do you think she makes?
Well, if he's making 15, I'm gonna say at least like 8.
$10 million a year.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, the numbers we should have gotten to being game show hosts. Ready for this list of game show host salaries?
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Steve Harvey. I think Steve Harvey, compared to Pat Sajak, he's underpaid. $10 million a year, which is still pretty goddamn good.
But
he's good.
He's good, but the show isn't as popular. I love Family Feud. The show isn't as popular because it's an afternoon lunchtime show. But he also gets paid millions of dollars from other things that he does. Yeah. So I think he's fine.
He does all right. And you know what's crazy with Steve Harvey is what was it, a beauty pageant? He screwed up the winner. That was him, right?
Oh, like a Miss America or something like that?
Yeah. I think that moment kind of propelled him a little bit to getting this job. So good for you. Like, what is it called? Failing your way up. Alex Trebek, before he passed away, RIP, the Jeopardy host, $18 million a year.
Sheesh. So he was leading everybody.
Yeah. $78,000 per episode. Jamie Foxx was on a show called Beach Shazam. I don't know if it's still out there. Do you remember that show? It was like a Fox show.
I don't remember. No.
Kind of low considering it's Jamie Foxx. $3 million a year.
Okay.
I mean, it's Jamie Foxx.
He's also an actor, so I'm not surprised.
Are you familiar with Survivor?
Yeah.
The host, Jeff Probst, $4 million a year.
Okay.
Drew Carey, Price is Right.
Yep.
Doing pretty well. $12.5 million a year.
He used to be Whose Line Is It Anyway, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
You know who's getting shafted in all this? I was looking through this list. You know who really got shafted?
Who?
And who I think super talented as a host? Wayne Brady.
What does he host? Who's got talent? Who's got talent? When I thought of that, I thought it was the bald white dude, but that's Deal or No Deal. Sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, Wayne Brady, $1.7 million.
Yeah, not a lot.
That's a lot of.
I mean, it's money, right? Like, who's to say that $1 point whatever million per year isn't money? But like, Let's Make a Deal. Is that even a popular show anymore?
That's a fun show. He's
I didn't
awesome.
say it wasn't fun. I said, is it popular?
It's one of those days, like it's before Wheel of Fortune. I think it's 10 a.m. So
Tough
it's like,
window.
yeah. Every time I think of Wayne Brady, I think of the Dave Chappelle skit. You know what I'm talking about? If you haven't watched Chappelle, if you haven't watched that episode of the Chappelle Show, it's like the other side of Wayne Brady, and he goes up to like a prostitute, and he's supposed to be like the pimp. And he's just like, does Wayne Brady have to smack a hoe? And
I've heard that line. I'm pretty sure we've all heard that growing up. But no, I didn't see the episode.
But no, what I asked you, Jake, are you familiar with game shows before we started? Because I was curious, like, all right, like, if you had the opportunity to be on a
Supermarket Sweep, you didn't even have to finish that question. It's the like I knew where you were going with it. So yes, I'm cutting you off. Supermarket Sweep is hands down the best game show. I wish it was still around, like of all time for me.
Did you even win money on that show?
No, you won groceries.
Such a shitty prize.
What? Bro, like
I mean, nowadays it's pretty solid.
Yeah, man, it's $8 for a carton of eggs. What you talking about? Well, like people would just, as soon as they say go, they just sprint to the turkeys. Like turkeys are like $25 a pop, and this is like in the 90s when people didn't have that much bread. So like people would sprint, grab like 3 turkeys, boom, $75 already in your cart. And then you're like, all right, let me get the expensive steaks. Like I'm going tomahawk, I'm going lobster. Like I'm grabbing everything meat that I can throw into a freezer. And like that would be my number one game show I'd go on. If it were a game show, if a reality game show, different, obviously.
Yeah, either way I was fine with. Can I be honest? Like I think turkey's pretty overrated. It's probably the worst holiday meat out there. So it can be kind of dry. It's not as flavorful, man. Turkey, like, nah, get out of here.
I'm with you on that. I prefer ham on Thanksgiving versus turkey.
Those tomahawk steaks. I was gonna say for me, when I was younger, I always wanted to be on Survivor. I thought that'd be like a dope ass show to be on. But man, thinking about it now, I would not want to be in that at all.
Them motherfuckers go through a lot. No, thank you.
Yeah, dog, you're out there for like a month straight with no food, no shelter, and just beating the shit out of yourself. That sounds awful.
Good, bro. I'm good. I work my ass off so I can have food and shelter. I don't want to be on a game show where I don't have that.
You know what one does sound fun though, but it might be stressful as hell. Are you familiar with The Amazing Race?
Yeah, that's the one that they go across it's an actual race. Yeah, is it around the world? I didn't know if that was like the goal.
Not like around, like you don't have to like do a lap, but it's like you go from Italy to France to Iceland to like whatever. You're like traveling everywhere. It's like you're going as fast as you can with like your partner.
That would be fun, but again, no, I'm good.
You and your wife could do that successfully, or would that
not a chance?
That would
not a chance. It would end in a lot of arguments.
Yeah,
and not even it would be from me. Like I don't like that type of. I wouldn't want to move like that. I want like let's chill. Why we gotta leave now? We gotta go. We just got to Italy like that.
Yeah, see, you're like, all right, let's go. Let's do this race. You get to the first destination. You're like, all right, we're good. We're just
gonna. I guess we're coming in last.
Thanks for the flight. Yeah, when I saw the Pat Sajak thing and the salaries, man, I just had to I got down that rabbit hole, and I wanted to just pick your brain on game shows because they're always fun.
Yeah, I like I said, I wish I watched more. I probably should, work from home environment, but it's just not something I think of. But I probably, should start watching a little bit more. Just get back into the old middle-aged lifestyle. That's just what middle-aged dudes do now. Is just
watch game shows.
Drink coffee and watch Friends all day.
What's your opinion on the people on Price is Right betting $1? By the way,
that's a bitch move.
Bitch move.
Yeah, always will be. It's so undermining.
When
they go $1 over.
Yeah, when the person $1,
$500, $501, Pat.
The look I would give if I bet 500. It's something
you might as well play that sound, because I'm ready to knock you out for doing something.
I redid the soundboard today, by the way.
I like that. Actually sounded fresh.
I'm hot with these sounds. I got a sound for you when you keep going on and on.
Oh boy!
After you're done.
Rant. Okay, cool.
2 hours later.
SpongeBob, holla. That's the perfect sound for you just going.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some sports. The last big sporting event until the fall, essentially, right? Because then we have October baseball. But yeah, NBA Finals wrapped up. Well,
Big shouts to those of the NHL fan base, because Trudeau completely forgot that there's another American sport that finishes off.
It's ending tonight. I think Vegas will clean them out tonight. NBA Finals wrapped up. Denver Nuggets are the champion. There's so many avenues to start with this conversation, so I'll just let you kick us off where you want to go.
Yeah, biggest one is at least just how good Denver is. I know I said it off air. They gave them the gentleman's sweep, 4-1 series win. I said at the beginning of it, like, Jamal Murray was going to play outstanding. I thought he'd be, in the race for MVP, but Nikola Jokic just absolutely dominated this. Like, he showed that you don't have to be athletic to be the best person in the NBA. And he's got the gift of being able to post score, pull up from three. He hit a fade. He hit a Dirk Nowitzki-esque fade, like the 1-footer from the post. He's got the passing ability of a guard. It's just incredible to see how good he is. And I'm happy that he was able to do it on the grandest stage in the NBA Finals. Unanimous MVP, clearly the best big man in the NBA right now. And I know that there's a lot of people that will say, well, they had blah, blah, blah type of way to the NBA Finals. They just showed how dominant they were. And they have like 4 guys under contract from their core that are going to be here for the next 2 to 3 years. So it's kind of scary to think, like, what happens in the West. Like, they got better defensively in the playoffs. They are already a dominant offensive team. Who's going to come up and try to dethrone them? Because, like I say all the time, champs are the champs until they're not the champs no more. And right now, they look pretty good for the next couple of years.
Well, just to start on I haven't heard people saying that they had an easy way to the finals, trying to make them seem like a fraudulent champion. Maybe that conversation is out there. Maybe that's more of just people on social media. I haven't seen many of the analysts say that. Maybe Stephen A. I could see him doing something.
No, it's more social media trolls for like people that like to, people that will say and tweet things. It's just like, you don't understand ball if you're going to disrespect this championship.
Yeah, I mean, you played the 8 seed the first round. Obviously, you've earned the 1 seed for working hard and being good in the regular season. I think people really quickly forgot that second round matchup. They played the Suns, who were the hard Vegas favorites to make the NBA Finals, and they beat them in 6.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 2 games they lost took in these insane performances from Booker and KD to get those wins.
They also won without Chris Paul, so that can't be a reason. Like, people said, oh, well, Chris Paul got hurt. It's like, no, Phoenix actually won 2 games when they didn't have Chris Paul. So, like, it helped them.
And they're willing to get rid of Chris Paul, so it's not like he's that big pivotal of a player for them. They played the Lakers in the next round, and the Lakers, if we're going to be honest, that's a team that the ESPN and analysts were talking about. Could they make a run into the finals when they were the 12th seed? Like, everyone knew this Lakers team was good, and they were amazing after the trade deadline.
Hottest team after the trade deadline, yep.
And then the Heat, you can just credit the Heat all you want. I'm going to talk shit about the Heat, but they are the team that beat the number 1 and number 2 team coming into the playoffs, in the Bucks and the Celtics. So I get it. On paper, you're looking at an 8, a 7, an 8, and I don't know if Phoenix was a 4 or the 5. I think they're the 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a really difficult run to the finals. And I heard Windhorst say today on his podcast, he was talking about the 15-16 Warriors, the team that only lost 1 game in the playoffs.
Yes.
He said
that was the KD.
And I respect like him and Zach Lowe's opinion on these things, because they like dedicate their lives to basketball. They were saying that, they believe Denver's path this year was much more difficult than that Warriors team's path. So like they felt that the strengths of schedule or the opponents they played in the playoffs were very good. Obviously, they're not the world beaters. You're not playing the 2 and 3 seed every night, but they didn't have to. They beat all the teams that were in front of them. They were all very good teams. And I have some stats I wrote down on their dominance if you're interested in them.
Sure.
So the Nuggets finished. So it's like you got to win 16 games to win the championship. So they finished 16-4 in the playoffs. So they only had 4 losses. That's tied for the 8th fewest losses to get a championship of all time. And that's the second best record, or that's the third best record since 2000. So the only 2 other teams since 2000 lost less games.
2000 was those 2000 Lakers.
Yep, you nailed it. So the 2001 Lakers,
they lost 1 game.
one game, and then the other one was the one game with the 16-17 Warriors they almost swept the whole thing and lost to the
that Lakers team. I don't want to go on that, but like ridiculous.
Who was on that team?
Shaq. It was Kobe and Shaq, but it was the
Shaq,
year that everybody said that Shaq carried Kobe, but both of those motherfuckers averaged 35 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just like, what the fuck are you supposed to do against that?
So like just kind of looking at their dominance, it's those that 67 win Warriors team that only lost one playoff. It's that Shaq Kobe Lakers team, and then it's this Nuggets team. And then as far as point differential, they have this 12th highest playoff point differential of all time.
So that means they're blowing everybody out.
Yeah, plus 166 to the playoffs. The only team, or not the only team, but here are some comparable teams with like as far as the same differential. So you kind of get a feel for like their dominance in this postseason was equivalent to X, right? Yep. The 08-09 Lakers had the exact same differential, so they're about on par as far as like how well they handled the playoffs. They had a 3-point edge on the 11-12 Heat, so that's the Heat's first championship as the Big Three. They had a 2-point edge on the 14-15 Warriors, so they performed better than those teams.
That was the first championship for the Warriors, I believe.
Yep, and they were better than the 12-13 Heat, the second Heat championship as the Heatles. By 20 points. So like, I'm just trying to set the picture for like how dominant this postseason was for the Nuggets.
Not only dominant, but like, I know, when we compare historical, names, Jokic and Murray, they don't match up with Jordan and Pippen, right? They don't match up with Shaq and Kobe, Manu and Tony, or Tim and Manu, whoever you want to combine with those. But we're going to look back on it and be like, if they get another one, they just may, right? It's because those names, LeBron and Wade and Bosh, they won multiple. So like, it's not just the championship and like they just happen to put their name in the historical category statistic wise. It's if they do it again, that's when you're like, oh wow, maybe they are one of the best combos to team up or link up. They were both drafted, they both re-signed, like they're homegrown. Can't say that for a lot of those people or teams that are in that area, right? That's Golden State, Chicago, and LA. It's not Miami, unfortunately.
Well, say what you want about, you brought up some combinations of other players, right? I think the one thing that you can say for sure is, with all those combinations, you had like Shaq. You mentioned Shaq, Duncan, a couple other guys that you consider top 10 players of all time. I think Jokic is top 10 player of all time already.
Really?
Yeah.
So I've gone back and forth with this.
I don't have a ranking. Like I don't have in my head, but like he's worthy of that status at this point.
Him winning a championship puts him in the echelon. I don't think better than, but it puts him in the echelon of top bigs, right? I'm just not ready to put him up there with Hakeem, with Bill, with Wilt. He's getting there. He's definitely getting there. But like I don't want to. Top 10 is tough to hear. I just know he's one of the best.
I don't know how many all NBA. It's like, even now at this point, I guess like if you're going to project going forward, absolutely. Even to this point, he's probably a top. If he didn't play another game, he's probably a top 20 player of all time.
I could see that because is Dirk a top 25?
He's better than Dirk.
I know that. That's what I'm comparing it. I think I might have said at the beginning of this playoffs, if Jokic wins a championship, I love Dirk Nowitzki, man. I think he did any and everything he could for the state of Texas and for Dallas as an organization. Jokic, I think, has surpassed Dirk already as one of the best international players of all time. Don't want to forget about Keem, right? Like the boy, nice, one of the best bigs of all time, best players, not even just bigs, one of the best players of all time. But he's entering that, and it's just weird to see that happening when somebody's still playing, right? Like it's usually like you look back on it and you're like, yeah, he's pretty good. But like when they're still playing, it's like, God, his non-athletic ability. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like his non-athletic ability means that like this is gonna be around for years. It's the same thing with Curry. Like his game translates for years. You don't lose your jump shot.
I think the most encouraging thing about his trajectory, Jokic, is I think he's gonna be a top 10 player. Hands down of all time. He doesn't get hurt. Like he just doesn't get hurt, and that's
knock
one of
on,
the reasons why he was MVP twice. Is he just doesn't miss time.
He doesn't lose. He doesn't leave the earth. There's no way if you're getting hurt if you can barely slide a piece of paper underneath you.
But yeah, just like to how good he is, he was just so dominant this postseason, man. And the crazy thing about him being dominant is he doesn't fit the traditional mold of what we think of a basketball player, right? Like he's not your LeBron slashing to the rim and just dominant. You can't stop this one thing, or Embiid backing someone down like I'm just too strong, or Steve Nash like just diming everyone. Jokic has like that unique ability. I just wanted like a passer. That's all.
I know, man. I'm sorry. Just the way you set that up. I mean, you went from LeBron to Steve Nash. It's like,
they're
come on, man.
right?
LeBron, Giannis,
but
and
you know
Steve
my
Nash.
You know my point.
Go ahead.
Like
said Magic Johnson.
The way Jokic dominated was he literally is a jack of all trades, and he's a master at everything. And he's so unselfish that it's like, hey, we're not gonna let you score 10. And he's like, okay, I'll just pass 15 assists if that's what you want me to do. Yeah. Or like they're like, fuck, we can't let him get these assists. We'll make him score. And he's just like, I guess I'll do that. Like he's literally in my lifetime the one superstar that it's just like that dude just don't care. He just wants to win. And I think that's, people dogged on him about the MVP race. Were like, oh, he doesn't get the point numbers as Embiid because he doesn't want to. He just wants to do what makes the team win. And like if it calls for him to get 30, 20 rebounds and 5 assists and 10 points, he's cool with it. Like he doesn't have that ego. And he dominated this playoffs by just being excellent all around and just doing what he had to do night after night. It's crazy.
Seriously, we also talked about it with the triple doubles, because I think there was a comparison to like the importance behind his triple doubles, and they're not stat padding. It's like if he like you just said, like if tonight's the night that I have to go off for 40, I'll go off for 40. But if tonight's the night that I go off for 15 but get 15 boards and 12 assists, I'll do that too. And the unselfishness of not having to do what other players, Russie was on the team, so like I can talk bad about him. Like Russell Westbrook was a stat patter, right? Like he was a front runner where he'll get out of the way, let me get this rebound, and it would transition into a 41 and 41 record going into the playoffs. Like it didn't transition into wins or translate into wins. Same thing with James Harden. Like you get your triple double, that's fine, but like what are you going to do in the playoffs? And he wasn't averaging a triple double in the playoffs, right? Jokic did. Like the man averaged like 35, 12, and 10 in the playoffs, which is insane.
Crazy, man. He's so good. I don't know what people don't like the way he plays, but he's so fun to watch to me. And this is going to be crazy to say, but he reminds me a lot in many ways of LeBron. And that sounds bananas, but I mean it in the way of like LeBron's a basketball savant. Like people know him for his athleticism, but his gift is just seeing the floor so well and just understanding everything and just being so smart. And Jokic, man, he just sees everything on the floor and he makes it look so effortless. He just puts the ball where it needs to be every play, doesn't care, just does what needs to be done. It's just fun to watch, man. I'm glad that Denver made this run because I had the joy of like watching this playoff run where, listen, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch many Denver Nugget games regular season. So like this playoff run, I'm guessing a lot of people in America now just realize how great this dude is.
Yeah, I usually the shoes on your foot when asking questions, and I'm only asking because somebody brought this up in one of our group chats, and I shot the shit down, and I hope he's listening tomorrow so that he can see that I shot it down. But would you consider, when everything is encompassed into what a superstar is, would you consider Nikola Jokic a superstar?
Bro, he's the best player in the NBA today. Like right now, he's the number one player in the NBA, the best player. I don't know what you want to call superstar. Is he going to sell shoes? No. Is he going to be on all the commercials? No, but he's the best player on the planet this moment. So I don't know what that means.
Thank you for saying literally verbatim exactly what I said in my group chat. It's like if you're considering somebody that just sells shoes and is on commercials the superstar and not just their talent and what they're doing for the league, then we're not on the same page, because he is the best player in the NBA right now. He is a superstar. He doesn't need to do commercials. He doesn't need a shoe deal, right? He doesn't need to have all of these endorsements. What did he say after the NBA Finals was over? Shit, we got a parade. I just want to go home. Like guys, just like I just want to come in, play basketball, and get out. Like I compared it to Tim Duncan. Like if you're trying to tell me that Tim Duncan wasn't a superstar, you're bugging, right? Like there's people that just want to come in and hoop, and they can still be considered best or greatest of all time because they just want to hoop and they don't need all of the extra shit.
I mean, it depends on what your definition of a superstar is. I get if like you have to be this flashy in the news, then if that's your definition, that's fine. I'm trying to think of someone on the flip side. I was trying to think when you were talking who gets all the notoriety, all the commercials, but just doesn't bring it. The best I could think about, and this is kind of shade because I just have a bias against this player, I guess, is Kawhi. Where like the dude's
the worst superstar of all time.
Yeah. Yes. And my point is like he's in like all those New Balance commercials and all this crap, and everyone loves Kawhi, but he's always hurt. He never plays, doesn't perform, he doesn't show up, he misses most of the season. It's like, yeah, I guess he's a superstar in the fact that like he's got all those endorsement deals and he's on TV and shit, but like he's not bringing it like Jokic is. Yeah. So pick your poison. Like if I'm a fan of an NBA team, I'd rather have the guy who's just quiet and doing his shit. And that's not to say you have to do it that way. Like you can be the LeBron and be dominating on the court and also have every commercial. I'm cool with that, but just like his skill level is undeniable in Jokic.
Big time.
Shout out to Murray, by the way. I know we just like talked Jokic. I don't know what to do with Murray because he's lost several years of his career with that like devastating injuries. And we all remember Bubble Murray. Like maybe that's the real Jamal Murray. It took him a while to get going this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's no All-Star appearances. I'm guessing that's going to change going forward. But the dude just proved that he's a legit top tier guard in the NBA this playoffs.
I think he had his, and this is no shade by any means, but I think he had his Kyle Lowry moment where Kyle Lowry became I'm not going to call Jamal Murray a Hall of Famer, but what I will say is Kyle Lowry became a Hall of Famer because of that championship in Toronto. And what this is doing is showing that like he also, even though he had an incredibly bad ACL injury, he's not an above the rim player, right? So like if he's manipulating the middle of the paint, right, bringing the old school mid-range back to the game or being able to hit those, fader threes, if he's able to do that for a consistent 6 to 8 years post-injury, I think he'll go down as one of the best guards to play the game. Yeah, I think he'll get in the Hall of Fame talk. Championship boosts everything that you like have done individually. And he's not a guy that's going to be 30, 10, and 5, right? He's not going out 30 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds. But he's going to get you 25 a night, right? He's going to get you 25 a night and lead a team as the solidified point guard in the playoffs and get another championship under your belt. Yeah, he's up there for one of the best point guards to play the game.
I actually think that he averaged 10 assists or over 10 assists in the finals. I think he had the most assists in the series, more than Jokic. To be fair, that's part of the Miami game plan, which I want to talk about in a moment.
Yeah.
Miami. But last thing I just want to say in the Nuggets is like, personally, I'm just really happy for these role players because there's a lot of guys in this Nugget team that like bounced around the league a lot.
4 Lakers, by the way, but go ahead.
That must hurt. I mean, number one, like I'm happy for Aaron Gordon as a Magic fan. He was never going to be this in Orlando, right? Because he was, if not the guy, like 1B in Orlando, and he needs to be the third or fourth option on a good team. And he found a perfect role. Bruce Brown's a guy who just bounced around the league and just been like a really like energy player with the Nets. I don't know if he was with the Nets last year, the year before. And then Jeff Green, man, that dude's been in the league for 1,000 years. He had open heart surgery. Like we thought his career was going to be done. Just like they have a lot of guys who are veterans who know how to play the game right and give super, super crazy effort. So I'm happy for all of those dudes, man. I'm happy the Nuggets won. Do you have anything else on the Nuggets before we jump in?
Big shouts to DeAndre Jordan being the
Dude, 3 minutes.
Being the only player out of the Lob City threat to win a championship. Sorry, Blake. Sorry, Chris Paul. DeAndre got a championship and y'all don't.
I mean, Chris Paul has another year. We'll see how that goes. On the Heat side, though,
where do we go from here, right?
Well,
like that's.
I wanted to say this. I think I was right and also wrong about the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
The team itself, talent-wise, is not great.
No,
right? But everyone did their the Patriots like do your job. Everyone did what they were supposed to do to perfection, and they executed super high. The game plan was perfect. Like Spoelstra and the Heat played it perfect against the Nuggets. They couldn't do much more. The game plan is to slow the game down. They can't keep up with them offensively. Grind the game down to a screeching halt, play in the mud, and try to get like some really tough, scrappy wins. And for the most part, they did that. The scoring was super low in this series. And at the end of the day, it's just like they didn't have the firepower to keep up. Like they were able to play the game they wanted, which is a win in itself, right? But you have Jimmy Butler, who I don't know what his status is right now. Like I hypothesized last episode that he has an injury and he's not going to return to him, and he never did.
Yeah.
And then
it
just
was the injury. It was
he hurt his ankle in the Boston series pretty bad. I don't know if it was game 6 or something. I remember he hurt it against the Knicks, and then he hurt his other ankle against the Boston series. And since that Boston series, he just wasn't the same.
Yep.
Outside of him, Bam did pretty well. He did as good as he could. And then just the role players, like they did okay, but it's just the firepower
wasn't enough.
The Nuggets, there's nothing you can do. Where do you go from here is what you're asking?
Yeah, so like I mean, just think of it. I think you hit it right on the head when you said that the Heat played the playbook the perfect way. Erik Spoelstra, they averaged like 116 throughout the season, something like that, 115, 116 points per game, and they held them under I think 110 every game. So it's like they did the job defensively. They just didn't have the offensive firepower where maybe a Tyler Hero gets you a couple buckets on possessions that you get a bad shot in. You see what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Butler can carry a team. We've seen him do it, the last 3 out of 4 years with Miami, carry this team into areas like one game from the NBA Finals last year, NBA Finals this year, in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. So it's like he's doing it, but he doesn't have the offensive abilities that other superstars have, right? Like he hits those fourth quarter clutch shots and you go, that's him. Like he's going to do it. Like you saw it coming. He did it again last night. And then there's times where he can't, because again, he's limited offensively, where for that back down game, bully ball in the post isn't working. You don't really trust his outside shot. And like, that's where the NBA is now, where like you hit a 2, guess who's going down and hitting a 3, the other team. And that's essentially what happened with them.
Yeah. I heard there were speculations that this is the Heat and Pat Riley, so this is not a speculation, but they're going to go big game hunting.
Yeah.
This offseason. Wendy was speculating that might be a player who's under contract that could do the I want to go to Miami thing and like force their way out potentially. So like I think there is interest by other superstars in joining the Heat just because of what they did with what they have.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens though, because we're talking on June 13th, so who knows what can change before then. There was something I wanted to touch on, but I'm missing what I wanted to say. It was about the series and the Heat. It's gonna annoy the shit out of me.
Tough to hear.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Now I remember what it was. Right.
Here we go.
Sorry, it took me a second. I think the Heat's biggest strength in these playoffs is they are super well executing, and they don't. When the moment gets tough, they're able to zone it out. Like they don't feel the pressure that other teams might feel in the playoffs for some reason. They're just dialed in. They were able to basically take a team's game plan against them and just kind of crumple it up and make things uncomfortable for other teams and make teams play the way they want to play. And if you think about the teams that they played getting to the finals, all teams the Bucks without Giannis falls into this category, but all teams that are susceptible to when things get uneasy, they kind of self-implode, right? So like I think in particular the Boston Celtics were like, the Boston Celtics are, when their highs are super high, but like when things are uncomfortable, they seem to just self-implode and self-inflicted wounds.
Yep.
They tried that with the Nuggets, and just the poise of all of those players, especially think about game 4. Do you remember game 4 when Jokic got that 5th flat foul?
Yes. The whole momentum changed.
We all thought, oh God, this is going to be a meltdown for the Heat. For the Nuggets. But they were able to just keep their composure and keep rallying and keep playing. And I think Murray carried them. They didn't lose much ground during that stretch when he was out of the game. Mm-hmm. That's just like, composed this Nuggets team is, and what was the magic potion for the Heat the entire playoffs. They just could not create, difficult situations and adverse situations for this Nuggets team. It's just, I don't know. It's amazing what the Heat were able to accomplish. I'm hoping that they get another superstar because this was fun to watch, but I just think the props should be given to both teams. That's all. Excellent.
Like I said it earlier. I know it was a gentleman's sweep. It could have honestly been done in 4. To tell you the truth, Denver's just that good. But I don't throw any shade at or discredit to the Heat for being where they're at. It's like, oh, if the Celtics made it, it would have been a better series. They didn't, right? Like, oh, if the Knicks made it, well, they didn't. Neither did the Bucks. The best team in the East was the Miami Heat this playoffs, which is why they were there. They just happened to run into the best team in the NBA, and the Nuggets proved it. So, not to say that like it was an ass kicking, because I don't think it was. Every game came down to like the final 2 minutes. There was no game that was an absolute blowout. I know game 3 was like 109-94, but like it was a handled game in the 4th still. I just think they need an extra player. Jimmy Butler, I think he's one of the greatest to play the game. He's carried a Miami Heat team with no major superstar to the NBA Finals, literally 2 out of 3 seasons. And what the season that he didn't came 1 possession away from doing it. So I think they'll be okay. They need another player, another superstar offensive gift to help that team out, because it'll just help their mentality when it comes to tougher, closer games.
One sneaky thing that may have slipped under the radar in this playoffs is during the finals. I don't know if you saw that the Denver Nuggets had made a trade with the.
I did see that. I didn't even think that was possible.
So they traded picks. And what they did was, so the Nuggets obviously, win now mode. You said that they can they're pretty much keeping their starting 5. I think Bruce Brown's probably going to leave and get a contract somewhere else. So they need to fill out some depth. It's a really smart move. They traded away like a future, like 6 years from now, 1st round pick unprotected. And they picked up, or it was like lightly protected, maybe top 5 protected. They picked up some of Oklahoma City's picks this upcoming draft, like pick number 36, pick number 42, just picks where they can get like maybe a couple veteran college guys to come in and be bench players and fill some minutes now. Whereas that pick in 6 years, that this window might be over. So I thought it was a really smart move to make those trades. And, you can get some assets now that can help you keep the roster afloat for the next couple of years.
Yeah. A Christian Braun type player who came off the bench and actually played decent. Yeah.
It was good. Shout out Christian Braun. All right, let's get to some fun sound bites, shall we?
I like it.
These are all kind of related to the finals. I think you alluded to one of them already. One of them is very much specific to the finals. The other ones is just hilarious, and I think you're going to get a good kick out of it. The first one is like I wanted to play Jokic's indifference as far as winning the championship and being here, because we were talking about how he's like such a selfless superstar. Kind of epitomizes who Jokic is as a person. I thought this was pretty funny.
You said after the Lakers win, you said you were surprised that you didn't feel more. So I'm curious what you are feeling right now, and if you're looking forward to a parade coming up in Denver.
When is parade? When is parade?
Thursday.
No. I need to go home. Okay. I mean, we succeed in our jobs, and we won the whole thing. It's a amazing feeling. But like I said before, it's not everything on the world. I think still, if I won it. Okay, we won it, but I think it's not the most important thing in the world. Still, there is a bunch of things that I like to do. I mean, probably that's a normal thing. Nobody likes his job, or maybe they do. They're lying.
Just things unpack. Let's unpack a few things. First, the thought of going to a victory parade, which everyone we've seen J.R. Smith with the Cavs win the victory parade, just
first championship in franchise history. Yeah,
downing bottles of Hennessy on the street. Like these dudes usually love the parade. Jokic is just like, dude, I'm not here for this bullshit.
We gotta stay here for another 3 days because of this shit. What, Susan? It sounds like he's gonna yell at her.
Do you know what his passion is?
Is it hunting or is it on his farm?
Horses.
Yep.
He owns a giant ass stable and has like, I don't know, 20, 30 horses. Jokic loves horses. He wants to go home to Serbia and ride some horses.
Yeah, all 6'11", 280 pounds on a horse. What the hell?
I think he does like the chariot thing
Gotcha.
on the back.
Okay.
Yeah. Which makes more sense. I don't think he can get on a horse.
No, I was gonna say you kill the thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Also, I am kind of annoyed that you don't hear. Granted, I think it's a lot harder because it's a little easier to understand Giannis. But like, we hear all these sound bits from Giannis about like he's so humble, like all he does is just want to win and go home. Like I don't hear that shit with Jokic. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people clowning on him because he wants to do that. And it's like, let the man leave, right? Like he's that damn good, and he doesn't care about all these extra festivities that he has to be a part of. Like he's on the sound of I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like that's the attitude he has.
The second thing I loved is he hasn't been more human. Excuse me, than he was at that very end, where he's just like, there's other things I like to do. You know, I mean, it's a job. Nobody likes their job, right?
Yeah, if they say they do, they're lying.
It's like my guy, but he seems. It almost sounds like he just doesn't like basketball.
He's just good at it, so he has to play.
Yeah, no, I think he's just like, dude, it's been a long season. This is all I want to do is win. All right, we're done. Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, seriously, stop asking me these questions so I can leave.
All right. The second part, I have several little sound bites, and these are going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with what happened during Finals Game 4 with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce? Please say no.
No.
Oh, this is going to be lovely then. So Kevin Garnett's like doing pretty well as far as TV and money. I think it was for Showtime. And he's doing like a live stream for Showtime. He has a partnership with BetMGM.
Yep.
So you don't have
Jamie Foxx and all them. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get those commercials with Kevin?
I get them. Yep.
Even though you can't gamble, I'm surprised. So yeah, like he's doing a live stream in partnership with BetMGM, trying to promote like the gambling and whatnot. And he has his boy Paul Pierce on. Do you remember how Paul Pierce got fired from ESPN?
Yeah, having strippers and marijuana and drinking on a live stream for Instagram. Yeah.
All right. So with that, knowing that pass of Paul Pierce, he's going to be on a live stream with Kevin Garnett. How do you think that went?
Did he do it again?
Do you want to hear the sound bites?
Go ahead.
Paul Pierce is that everyone has this friend and everyone knows this guy. So let me give you the first one. Are you ready?
Sure.
So this is my girlfriend for the day. They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.
Stop, man.
And so I got a girlfriend for the day.
Stop, man.
You can hire girlfriends for the
Stop,
day.
man.
I went on the website and I hired a
Look right
girlfriend
here.
for the day.
Look, Collins. There go Collins. Look at D Wade at the game. Okay, D Wade at the game. You don't know what.
You can start that website.
This is a live
girlfriends for the
stream,
day.
D. We're live. We're streaming. Whatever you're saying, they can hear you. Shout out to everybody who joined us on the live stream. Yeah, we got that P After Dark coming to you this summer. Look for it, right? Okay, let's get back to it. Right.
My favorite thing is you can tell how uncomfortable Kevin Garnett is. He's trying to like change the subject several times. And he's like, you run a live.
Yeah. So I didn't. Oh, you played another one?
Okay.
No, I'm just gonna put the little clip.
Hey, they got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day. Hey, they got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.
To just say that on a live stream, and he had a chick, right? Like I don't have the accompanying video, but you can see in the video like he has some chick with him the whole time.
So I was scrolling through Twitter this morning and I saw Stephen A. It said recent, which I didn't put two and two together, but it said, Paul Pierce, you're better than this. And I watched it and he was talking about the incident, which I thought he was relating it to what happened back with ESPN. And I had no idea that he did this again.
Oh, there's more.
This is
Ready?
Go ahead.
To understand live stream, you know what I'm saying? No. Right. Shooting after dark or some shit. You gotta do some production and some editing within the live stream. Like, the hell? We're gonna get parental guidance on live streams.
Is this live right now, y'all?
Yeah, it's live.
This live.
It's live. He's burnt, Lord. He's burnt. No, we're working. We're working. We're not popping. We're working.
We're popping.
We're on the live stream.
Once you understand the difference between
No.
popping and popping,
No.
we're
No.
popping.
No. We're live streaming.
Dog, when Kevin Garnett is the voice of reason, he's is like if you watch it, Kevin Garnett's like this is his production. And he's just trying to control the whole thing. And it's just like, you never have that friend that's just like, when you go out with this dude, he's going to lose his shit and just like not be like angry, but just like, bro, you need to calm down. Like you're acting a fool.
Yeah, I do. I run a podcast with him every Tuesday.
Fair enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. You set yourself up for that one, man. I had to throw that shot.
I think the third one he realizes that this shit's real. I think this is the one he realizes like, oh shit.
Show me the live stream.
It's right here. Look, move, Jelani.
Well, show me.
It's right here. Look right here.
Show me the likes
drunk.
and the
He's so
comments
drunk.
and all that on that.
Now give us some questions. Let's take some questions. You want some fans questions? You want some fans questions?
Show me now. It should be live.
You want
Show
some
me
fans?
now.
You want some fan questions?
Yeah, give me some fans
Fan
questions.
questions. What's some fans questions?
So this live right now. What y'all asking? Oh, this is it. Yeah.
Man, hit the button on this one. Man, what's the
The last one's probably my favorite. That's when he realizes like this is probably my favorite. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we missed one.
Can I light this? They don't allow smoke?
Can't smoke in there.
How we know?
If you have vape.
How we know? Do we know?
Yeah, Mike's right there.
Is he smoking in here?
No.
He don't know either. He said, I don't know.
No, it's no smoking in
He
here.
said, I don't know.
It's no smoking in here.
He said, I don't know.
7462, Denver.
He said, I don't know.
KG's trying so hard.
Hold on. Give me a liner. Give me a liner. Yeah, mother. Yeah. Who you think you talking to? Hey, my boy, don't make me smack you.
Relax, man. Relax, man. Relax, man. Relax. You
I'm
burnt.
saying,
You
though, who throw it
relax.
at me?
It came from him. Relax.
Trying to fight people now.
Watch the game, Lord. Get on the game. Get on the game, Joe. Get on the game. Get on the game, Pete.
I
You good? You good? You good? You
I
good?
didn't know who it came.
7662, man.
The score update gets me.
Yeah, so I read something and it was like people that were going off and on with Jeff Van Gundy, Mark and what's the dude, Mark Jackson and Mike Green, that trio of combo. And it was about the NBA finals, and like it's very similar to what just happened, where it's like Mark Jackson would say something like, yeah, back in the 90s I used to play and like I scraped my knee and all of a sudden I had to worry about like, you know, having this disease or whatnot. And then, you know, Van Gundy would come in and like, well, come to think about it, this type of disease is terrible. And like all these things that happen to your life and you break a leg and blah, blah, blah. And then Mike Green's like, and Curry hits the three. Just like these two dudes going off. And it literally the same thing. It's like, yo, we're here to talk about the game. Yo, I'm going to smack this bitch. What are you doing, Paul?
Poor Kevin Garnett, man.
Live stream or not, like you can't be trusting that type of stuff, especially if it's your own production like that. Like you got to know how Paul is. Like it's his boy, you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely like one of his best friends.
They
You can't
got
be doing that.
hire girlfriends for the day.
It's terrible.
I think low key funny. I think I talked over it, but during it he starts laughing and it reminds you of like we talked about earlier. Do you remember the Rick James skit?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, haha, like, does this laugh remind you of Rick James stomping the couch?
It's close.
Rick James, bitch.
Yo, coach. Yes, very close. Very close.
I'm curious. Do you have a preference? I'm trying to think of like going forward. Do we keep this? Do we make this our new official laugh? Or do we stick with?
It's got to be Kawhi.
It's got to be Kawhi. All right.
I watched something a couple of days ago about like Kawhi and his laughs and whatnot. It's like, this is classic, man. Like that'll never die as to how robot. I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Yeah, man. Paul Pierce, great ideas though.
They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.
Oh my God. Love that guy. By the way, did we ever get closure? Did he ever admit to shitting his pants?
He said that if I watched something saying that if I'd have shit my pants, why would I have sat down in a wheelchair? I was like, that you're not saving yourself with that type of excuse, bro. Like you could have, I don't know, people wear what is that, compression pants? You know what I'm saying? Like it's all in there. So I don't know. I think he did. I think he also tried to have his Willis Reed moment, which is really fucking annoying against the Lakers. Yeah, like, oh, we'll come back. Like the dude got carried out on a stretcher and then like or wheelchair and then came hopping back, like going a bunch of business. He hit back-to-back threes. That series pissed me off a lot.
He was a lot lighter after that. I wish I had to laugh. Yeah, I got you with it.
That's good.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
It's been a minute since we started talking, since we talked gambling on this show.
Yeah, I mean, it was NBA playoffs, but like when it got to the finals, we stopped.
Yeah, the end of the playoff was kind of tough because there was only a couple of games. So we're gonna try and mess with MLB. I've been doing really well baseball gambling. That's been my jam recently.
Yeah, not sharing any of the bread. I appreciate you.
Give me some of that baseball pick. So I don't know. There's a couple teams I want to talk about potentially for the Wednesday slate.
Okay.
The first one I really like is Tampa Bay. Like I'm a homer for Tampa. That's my baseball squad. But so you got Tampa Bay versus Oakland. Oakland's god awful right now. I think they are tied for the 10th worst record of MLB all time. They've actually been pretty good as of lately. They've won 6 straight actually coming into tonight. But the Wednesday slate, you have a really good pitching matchup. In gambling baseball, you know, the biggest factor is your starting pitching matchup. You know, good starting pitcher is going to go up 5.5, like 5.2, 6.2 innings. And they can really limit the run scored against you, like their team.
Yep.
Tampa Bay's got Tyler Glass now pitching. He's won a Cy Young. He missed all of last year. He had to get Tommy John. He's pitched a couple innings this year, 15 innings. He's only, he's just coming back, but he's been really strong. And on the flip side, Oakland, awful pitcher. This Medina guy, ERA of 7.53. So it's a very heavily skewed matchup favoring Tampa starting pitching. Tampa bullpen's not the best, but I think Glasnow can probably go 6. And Tampa's offense is number 1 in MLB as far as runs scored. I think they do damage early. I'm picking Tampa in part of the parlay. If you want to get spicy, even go run line, so you can give up a run and say that Tampa will win by more than 1 run.
Nice, I like that.
I actually bet Tampa tonight against Oakland. I'm doing run line just because Oakland's really bad. But again, they've won 6 straight, so who knows? I'm still going Tampa in this matchup. I have another one, but is there any games that you're interested in tomorrow or in general?
First shot at doing baseball bets. I promise for those that are watching that do watch baseball, I'm trying my hardest to get into it. Like I want to be able to speak it a lot better when we go over it throughout the summer, especially with the basketball and NBA and NHL ending. I mean, I'm going Reds Royals just because it's the first matchup that jumps out on me. You had mentioned Ben Lively was actually a pretty decent pitcher. The first thing that I see is I'm just going to try to take an easy matchup to at least start. And I see a team that's struggling in 18-49, 18-48 in the Royals. And even though the Reds don't have a 500 record, I'm going more off of the information that you had mentioned about the starting pitchers, especially for live.
Yeah, I don't hate that. So here's the thing about the matchup. I don't love betting the Reds just because the Reds are pretty bad historically. They have kind of a taint to them. They're not terrible. They're almost 500. Kansas City's 1-9 out of the last 10. So they've been really bad lately. The pitching matchup is pretty
even.
I do favor the Reds offense. They actually brought up a prospect last week, Ellie De La Cruz. He's
I saw that. Was that the kid that hit a home run in his first at bat? Or first game?
Second game, Ellie De La Cruz.
But it was like a shot. It was like 450. Dude, I saw that on SportsCenter.
He was one prospect in baseball. Plays shortstop, third base. He's like 6'7". He's tall and skin, like he's tall and lanky, but he runs like a goddamn gazelle, man. Like
he's built like Aaron Judge, but faster.
Yeah, he's not as muscular as Aaron Judge. Doesn't have the weight, but I think he had the fastest recorded time running from like home plate to second this year. So he's like a freak athlete, 5'2" player. They just added him. The offense isn't terrible for Cincinnati. I like it. And I think you're getting, what are the odds on that? Since he is minus 120 favorites, so that's not like huge favorites. I like it. If you want to go Reds and Rays, that's fine. Like you're getting a little bit of risk with the Reds, but the Rays are a pretty safe bet. I was going to say the only other team I'd like to maybe add, if you want to do a safer parlay, go Rays and Astros, or maybe go like,
I thought about that. I thought about the Astros Nationals game, but like I don't know where they're at when it comes to the whole like are they actually a really decent team now? I know they won the World Series last year, but okay.
They got off to a rough start.
That's what I heard.
They didn't have Altuve, and the bats were a little slow. They've had a couple pitching injuries.
Banging on trash cans? You're trying to tell me that?
Oh, yeah. But the Astros do have their ace on the mound in Falmer Valdez. He's their number one pitcher. He's really good. The National pitcher is actually pretty solid, Josiah Gray. But the Nationals have been not super great recently. I think they've lost 4 of the last 5, whereas actually the Houston Astros have been pretty bad lately as well. I don't know. This is one that if you're going to bet like a favorite, I'd prefer going Rays just because the Nationals are kind of sneaky, scary at times. But the Astros should win. So if you want to do all 3, I think you're good. Yeah, I mean, baseball is an interesting betting sport because a lot of baseball's numbers, right? So unlike basketball, there's a lot of like variables outside of pitching matchups and different things. Basketball, there's a lot of different things that can influence a victory, whereas baseball, you can kind of analyze it and get a numerical output.
Makes sense.
Percival. Hey, Percival. Sorry about your heat, buddy.
Welcome back, man. Sorry that they took those L's.
Yeah, I don't like betting Yankees, mostly because there are some teams in baseball where you like, we joke around like paying a tax. And what I mean by that is like your team, like the Yankees or the Dodgers, who are like very popular teams, people would just bet them because they like those teams. And I'm guessing like the Lakers have the same thing in NBA, where like their favoritism, like how much of a favorite they are, gets inflated by the number of bets that go on them because people just like them. So you're not getting as much value as you could by playing like a team that people don't like as much. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. People see the name and they're just like, oh, they're going to win. So they bet. And because Vegas sees people betting them, they have
line moves.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's how.
Well, I only remember that because of when we were talking about betting during the college football playoffs and how the lines were moving because people were like hammering like Oklahoma, what's it called? Georgia. For the TCU game, and like they had to be like, we gotta even this shit up. So like, let's raise the bar so people can start betting TCU. Yeah,
and first we actually talked about earlier. You have to check the podcast. We talked all Miami earlier, and rumor has it they're big game hunting. So I think you might be happy with your roster next year. I don't want to give out too much what we talked about, but check it out. Apple, Spotify, all the good shit. All right, let's get into the last bit of the show, shall we?
Let's get it.
Here comes the new kid on the block. Hold on, you bet.
You ready to close this thing out?
Let's get it.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
Closing takes. All right. Time we get to a little ISO ball and get to something we want to talk about. I feel like I'm on a hot streak, just like the streaking Oakland Athletics. I'm going to be on a streak of 3 weeks talking about the Oakland A's. I don't know why I love them so much. It's probably because I just hate them. Also, last time we talked, they had the worst record by percentage ever, winning percentage in MLB history. Since we talked last, these motherfuckers
have won
6-game winning streak. They've won 6 in a row. And the crazy thing is that brings their win total to 18 games in the season. They are currently 18-50. This past week, those 6 games accounts for 33% of their entire wins for the entire season. So
you just had to talk shit about them.
Had to talk shit. I've actually bet against them twice in that span, so I'm really angry at this A's team.
This is coming back to bite you both times that you've done it. You talk shit about the Heat, and now you're talking shit about the Athletics.
Well, I will say this: they're not alone now. Your aforementioned in the last segment, Kansas City Royals, are sliding down the standings, and now the A's were the worst team of all time. They're now the 10th worst by winning percentage. The Oakland A's are right behind them at 13. The Oakland A's are 18-48. The Oakland A's are 18-50, and the Royals are 18-48. So we have competition for the worst team ever. I love it. Last little bit on the A's. For all this losing, they're winning because this week the Nevada State Senate approved $380 million for the creation of a new stadium to host the potential Las Vegas Athletics. Very exciting.
Yuck. Any word on the exiting fee that you were talking about?
I don't know on that yet. I'm assuming they probably will still have to pay a fee if that happens.
Now, does that fee go towards, because baseball's revenue share? So would that go towards every team? So potentially help someone like the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Yes, it would. And you know what bums me? I just realized, and we don't have time for this now. One of the topics I want to talk about today was, did you see what happened with Lionel Messi?
Yeah, he went to the MLS.
Yeah, do you the things behind that is bananas. Like he
turned down like $1 billion contract for it.
He's getting like ownership stake in a franchise. He's getting a cut of the Apple Plus TV deal. Like he's getting a cut of like all of the MLS money, not just the club money. Like the shit he's getting to go to MLS is bananas.
He's going the David Beckham route. David Beckham like rewrote how to go from international play or European, football to American football. And like he's riding the coattails for it. Ronaldo, again, I want to go off on it because it's a bread tangent. He got his bread there, but like he doesn't own shit. Like Lionel Messi is coming in and he's going to own part of a MLS franchise. He's going to keep making money when he's done playing.
What happened with Beckham was dope for him because basically it's like he got part of the Miami franchise. So basically they gave him a deal that said, you're not getting a part of an active franchise, but when you decide to invest, we'll give you a steep discount. So he only paid $25 million for the franchise or for part of the franchise. So he had someone else give him most of the money and he got like a 50% stake in it or something. And the club's worth like $300 million now. So like it was a great deal. I'm sure Messi has the same deal. And one last thing. I know I'm taking all the spotlight here.
You're good.
Messi's way better now than Beckham was when he came over.
I wasn't giving a shot at that. I was just saying Messi's one of the best to play in the history of the sport. Yeah. I was just saying like he's taken the route that Beckham took, which was come over to the MLS, come over to the American ground, let everybody love you, and make a shit ton of money because of it.
Yeah, he's going to do pretty well. All right, what do you got for me?
Something quick just to wrap up because it happened this weekend. Big shouts to an incredible UFC career. Amanda Nunes is retiring from the sport. She dominated. I think it was like Irene Aldana, whooped her ass. I watched it from start to finish, a unanimous decision. It was incredible to watch her fights. I was able to watch, I think, the last 5 out of 6. I didn't watch her loss to Juliana Pena, but I watched her come back against her, the second fight. And it's good to see. Like, I saw her whoop Holly Holm's ass after Holly Holm whooped Ronda Rousey. Like, it's good to see somebody that has just dominated their sport walk away on top. And she was able to do that. She lost the Juliana fight, the first one. I think it was right around the time she had a kid. So it's like, is your heart in it? Is it not? You know what I mean? Like, a woman's body goes through an incredible transformation after they have a child, and she came out and still was able to fight 3 more times. So crazy to think that people do that, or females would do something like that. But good for her to go out on top. It was a great win. Her presser when she was leaving was incredible. She said, "Yo, cut my gloves." She put her gloves down. She put the belts down, and she's just like, "Just want to let you guys know that I'm done." It was awesome. Like, hey, yo, that's a send off. Like, that was like the Peyton Manning type deal where it's like, you won your Super Bowl. Yo, guys, I'm not coming back. I got nothing left to give to the game. Like, here you go. I wish Brady went out like that. I know he's a little bit more competitive, but like, his retirement wasn't as much of the send off as you wish for you know how hard this is for me to say this, but the greatest football player of all time. It just sucks that he went out the way he went out. I can respect the way that Amanda did.
Just on the Brady thing, I don't want to get too into it, but
shut up. He's not coming back. Just dead it, please. Dead it. I don't want to go down that route.
Hey, man. The Vegas Raiders don't have a quarterback right now. Yeah. Guess who has ownership stake in Vegas now?
Guess who's the coach? McDaniels. He needs another quarterback. Shut up, bro. Like, yes, I already know these things. We're not going down that route. No, this isn't a 2 days later. No, we're not doing that. I'm not going on a tangent. I promise.
No, it's all good. Yeah, her fight, Nunes' opponent, was she any good? Because I looked, I bet on the card. I took Nunes, but I looked at the card. It didn't seem like the opponent was very good. She was also 35 years old. She didn't have a great record. It seems like one of those fights you just knew you were going to retire and you just like want to win.
Yeah, not only that, UFC does this weird thing where like they give title shots to people that aren't like ranked second. I don't understand that. Like, you always see it. Like, you'll see the C next to their name, champion, and then the number next to the other person. And I think she was like 5th. So I was like, she's the 5th best fighter. Yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know much about Irene Aldana. I know that she got her ass whooped. It wasn't even close, to tell you the truth. Like she had her eye closed up in the first round. Jesus. I was like, good God. But she went 5. But she got her ass whooped for all 5. So, shouts of respect. So they come out and, they do the tap gloves at the beginning of the round. And like the first 2 rounds, she was all for it. And the 4th and 5th round, she's like, I can't do this. They throw in the towel. So somebody. But no, it was a valiant effort. It just didn't matter. So, big shouts to Amanda Nunes. Great way to walk away from the game, walk away from your sport as being the best of all time.
Nice, man. All right, man. Good podcast today. I'm excited to see what the future holds when there's no NBA or NFL or college football. We'll have fun though with it.
Hey, man, we're coming up to, and I'll wrap us up so we can get us out of here. We're coming up to episode 50 sooner or later, right? Which means like it's around the time that we started. We're almost a full year in. But let's get up out of here. So as we say when we're dipping up out of here, please, y'all hit us up on the socials. Hit us up on Facebook. We will get an Instagram at some point. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on our website, www.frizzandgrizz.com. And more importantly, we appreciate y'all for being here live stream. And when you catch us up on the podcast tomorrow morning, please, y'all take care of y'all mentals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all chicken. Make sure y'all take care of y'all cheering. More importantly, everybody in the GBA playoffs, I hate y'all, but good luck this postseason.
Peace.
Hey, they got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.